Hey guys, it's me Simo Urahara, and in this video we'll talk about the topic of Bankai and about the first Shinigami who managed to learn Bankai in just 3 days, and of course he's one of the smartest characters in Bleach, if not the smartest. Urahara. The Shinigami responsible for numerous inventions, especially those related to the 4 Shinigami arts like Kido and Zanpakuto. For example, he was the one created the key that stopped Aizen's train on its way to the Royal Palace. He also crafted the sword that restored Ichigo's powers, and he was the mind behind the Tenshintai, the tool that allowed him to learn Bankai in such a short time. So guys, let's dive into the background of this invention, Urahara's motivations behind creating it, and why this tool was never officially adopted by the Gotei 13 to speed up the Bankai mastery process. First of all guys, as we mentioned in previous videos, Bankai as a weapon or second release of the Zanpakuto isn't something everyone can reach. In fact, even when we look at the Shinigami in the Gotei 13, who number around 3,000s, not all of them have Shikai. Many of them still wield nameless swords or asauchi. That's why Bankai is considered an extraordinary achievement that requires years of training to reach and master. The hardest part lies in bringing the Zanpakuto spirit out from the inner world into the real world. Now, according to Yurichi, this transition from inner world to outside and subduing the Zanpakuto is the toughest part. Even for a naturally talented Shinigami, mastering Bankai takes over 10 years of intense effort. It's enough to know that mastering Bankai elevates a Shinigami's status, qualifying them to become a captain in the Gotei 13. As Yurichi also mentioned, having Bankai is mandatory to become a captain. The only one who became a captain without Bankai was Zaraki. He is the sole exception in Soul Society's history. That's why, honestly, I really wish Kobo had added a page in data book showing us at what point each captain acquired their Bankai, like how many years passed between the first bond with Zanpakuto and achieving Bankai. That kind of information guys would have given us a better idea of each captain's scale and learning curve. But on the other hand, it seems that someone once considered that there must be a better way to speed up the Bankai process and reduce all that effort and time. And that man was Urahara. No doubt he followed the principle of work smart, not hard, when it came to mastering Bankai. Because what we know guys is that Urahara had known Yurichi since they were children. And Kobo did mention that there is a secret behind how their relationship started. What matters is that they were close even before joining the Gotei 13 and remained close after they both joined the Gotei 13. And because of Urahara's intelligence and the way he sees the world, it's certain that his view of the Zanpakuto was also unique. He wasn't going to just activate Shikai and wait years through the normal training to reach Bankai. His passion for research and invention led him to create a way to drastically shorten the Bankai learning through the invention of what is known as Tenshintai. Of course, we don't have a lot of details, but it's likely that Urahara created Tenshintai while he was a member of Squad 2. The only scene we have of Kisuke with Tenshintai is the one where Yurichi is talking about the invention and Urahara appears with specific look. The idea behind the Tenshintai is simple. It allows a Shinigami to force their Zanpakuto spirit out of their inner world into the real world. And this happens as soon as the Shinigami stabs the doll with the tip of their sword. So the main role of the Tenshintai is to make it easier to manifest the Zanpakuto. But the more difficult part guys here, which is the fight and domination of the Zanpakuto soul, it still depends on the individual Shinigami and their relationship with their Zanpakuto. For example, in Ichigo's case, Old Man Zangetsu decided that the way Ichigo would fight was by finding the real sword, the only one that could catch him. Once Ichigo found that true sword and defeated Osan, Old Man Zangetsu, at that time Ichigo became able to activate the Bankai. What is amazing guys about this is how the Old Man Zangetsu's words perfectly aligned with the end of Ichigo's fight against Urahara. His line about how Osan must find the real sword to defeat him or he'll be killed. It's just like what happened at the end of the Quincy War, where Ichigo had to understand his powers and obtain his true Zangetsu, the one he literally to cut down Urahara. But as we mentioned earlier guys, the battle between Zangetsu and Ichigo followed a rule set by the old man himself. And we can see guys, that method of learning Bankai have a great deal of risk. As Yorichi said, no one had ever learned Bankai in just 3 days using this device except for Urahara Kizuki. And according to her, Urahara Kizuki made himself a test subject, tried out the tool and managed to learn Bankai in 3 days. And it seems that he determined that the maximum time of Shinigami could safely use the tool to learn Bankai was exactly 3 days. And that's one of the mysterious things about this device, Tenshintai. What would actually happen if a Shinigami went beyond those 3 days while trying to activate his Bankai? Because Yorichi seemed quite worried about that when it comes to Ichigo, especially if his level didn't improve that enough. And if you go back to the scenes where she recalls Urahara's words, he made it clear to her that Ichigo would reach Bankai within 3 days and wouldn't go beyond that limit. It seems even Urahara Kizuki himself understood how dangerous it was. Could it be that the Shinigami's energy would be completely drained after 3 days, possibly leading to death from exhaustion? Or maybe if the Zanpakuto stays outside his inner world for too long, it wouldn't be able to return properly? Yes, we know that there are some breaks during those 3 days, but we're talking about prolonged use of tool and its potential downsides. Another possibility guys, the Zanpakuto could go berserk and actually kill its wielder during training. Of course, all of these are just theories, because in reality, Yorichi never specifically defined what the consequences would be. Whatever those negative effects are, it seems they were enough to make the Gotei 13 avoid using Tenshintai for training Shinigami with Shikai to help them get Bankai, for example. And that's unfortunate because it could have been a great tool to increase the number of Bankai users and thus the overall power of the Gotei 13. Because I always wondered guys, why didn't the Gotei 13 or even the Academy use this tool to teach Bankai in an easier way? Because all we know is that this tool guys is now associated with the Omitsukido. And maybe that's because Kizuki invented it while he was a member of that branch. He was the 3rd siege and also a member of the Omitsukido. So maybe some Shinigami use this device just to bring out their Zanpakuto, but I doubt any of them have the skill to use it like Urahara did, to actually activate Bankai with it. As for Ichigo Kurosaki, he was trained by Yorichi herself, and then the old man, the Osan Zangetsu. Of course, the fact that the old man was lying about his identity, that's another story, and we have talked about it. And personally guys, I wish there was a flashback showing Urahara Kizuki using Tenshintai for the first time, with Benihime appearing in her true form. That totally would be something incredible. Especially since in the novel that was about the 8th Kenpachi that talked about this event, but in different contexts. In that story, it said that when Urahara Kizuki was with Yorichi and wanted to show her his new invention, while they were awaiting for Benihime to appear, Uruzakuru appeared instead, and she had been wandering around the Serity and manifested through this device, appearing before both Yorichi and Kizuki, and started talking to them. So this could be also one of the risks of using this tool. In the end guys, I believe that if the Tenshintai was more flexible and less dangerous, it could have been a revolutionary invention, like the creation of the Zanpakuto itself, in my personal opinion, because with it you would be cutting down years of hard training in just a few days, allowing many gifted Shinigami to activate their Bankai much faster. So guys, what do you think about this device? Could we see it again used by some Shinigamis? And would you like to see Urahara's first use of this training to see Benihime's appearance? Tell me guys in the comments and see you in my next video.